off of it. If you go to get off of it, you gain all the weight back. It never solved the root cause problem. It wasn't made to help you lose 10 pounds. It was for the person that was about to lose a limb. We've now using it for people to lose weight so they can feel better about themselves. Okay, in that concept, we have a couple problems. For starters, it's expensive. So now you're on $1,000 a month to keep the same weight. Ozempic kills hunger. And that's one of the reasons it's causing people to lose weight. You need food to make hair and nails and muscles and hormones and neurotransmitters. We don't know what it does to the microbiome. And the microbiome is what is making serotonin that keeps us happy. The microbiome, there's a set of bacteria in our gut called the estrobolome that break estrogen down. If we destroy our microbiome, you destroy your body and you destroy your mind. The last one that I will tell you is that it's the empowerment piece. When I inject something into me and I lose weight, who do I give credit to?
Ozempic, you're codependent.
What happens when the human forgets how powerful they are? Let's not rob a woman of the experience of figuring out how to drop weight. And by the way, a fasting lifestyle will give you the same weight loss result and save you money as Ozempic. And you walk out of that and you are like, I'm a badass. I did this. I did that for me. You don't get that if you inject yourself with something.
So welcome back to VDB TV. So we're talking about risking it all to lose weight. So whatever happened to going to the gym, being on a strict diet, fixing yourself a nice big salad, drinking water, pushing the plate back, not eating so much, eating in portions, going to the doctor or nutritionist and find out the best foods, the very best foods that's going to help you to reach your goals. Whatever happened to that? I guess these days people want a quick turnaround and they don't want to put in the work. But at what cost are you getting that quick turnaround? So let's sit back, relax, and listen to more stories on weight loss. So let's continue.
One complication that's getting a lot of headlines in the news for Ozempic. I'm Dr. Hassan, board certified trauma anesthesiologist. I'm here to talk to you about Ozempic and the side effect that's making the news. For those who don't know, Ozempic is a GLP-1 agonist. It helps a lot of people lose weight, feel satiety, and also can potentially help you stop drinking alcohol. But recently, there's been a couple of headlines about side effects that are occurring with Ozempic. Now, some rare side effects with Ozempic include pancreatitis, neuroendocrine stuff, and more commonly acid reflux from the food sitting in your stomach longer. However, recently, there's been some headlines about diarrhea and explosive diarrhea with Ozempic. This article right here is not concerning, but it is a little bit shocking that people are actually getting diarrhea so bad that they're pooping their pants. In medicine, we talk about this as explosive diarrhea. And one woman in this Insider article talks about shitting the bed club on Wegovy. Now, while this isn't a life-threatening complication, it theoretically could be if you're pooping too much or using too much water or electrolyte. It's obviously something to monitor and talk to your doctor about because you might have to decrease your dose if you are having diarrhea that bad, or you might have to switch to a different GLP-1 agonist. But a lot of times on my channel, I talk about the benefits of Ozempic. I wanted to bring this up to highlight that there are side effects with it too. Just like any other drug, there's always side effects. Now, whether or not it's worth having diarrhea to lose weight, you can only decide that. I can't decide that. You can talk with your primary care doctor and see if it's worth it. And for most people, a little bit of diarrhea to lose some weight is worth it. But obviously, if the diarrhea is so bad that it's not tolerable in everyday life, then it's not worth it. So decide for yourself whether you like it, whether you don't like it. If you're having side effects, talk to your primary care. If you like this content, please share for more. And I just wanted to post this because a lot of times people think they say on here I'm a drug pusher, a big pharma shill or whatever, but I'm not. I'm just giving you the pros and the cons, and I know the side effects that come with being obese, and those are more likely threatening a lot of people. So I just want to clear that up. Love you guys. Follow from the
In 2023, I went on Ozempic for maybe a month and got sick and stopped it. And then in 2024, in January of 2024, I was put on Ozempic again and was put on a much smaller dose. And I went on it for maybe 6 weeks. I would say total between the two times, it was like 2 to 3 months tops. Maybe 2 months total between the two times I was on it. So the last dose I took was the beginning of February of 2024. And my stomach has never been the same. From January to probably June, I threw up and was nauseous constantly. I have never been pregnant, but I feel like it feels like it has to be as close to morning sickness as possible. I was nauseous all of the time. I would walk up the stairs and throw up. I threw up showering. I was so sick to my stomach. Walking up the stairs specifically was really hard on my stomach. After probably like 9 months, it kind of that was kind of the peak, and then I would say it went from like being like I have the flu 24/7 to maybe the best I feel is maybe kind of altering between day like 2 and 3 after the flu. So if you have had the flu and you have been throwing up, you're sick to your stomach, by day 3, the thought of eating anything, it's like, maybe I can try to eat that. And sometimes things are okay. Maybe sometimes it's even like day 4 after but there's always, but sometimes it's like the day after. But that's how my stomach feels all the time. I think the biggest thing is no appetite. I used to, love food, and it has made me, like, I have no appetite. Nothing sounds good. I go grocery shopping and I'm like trying to think of like what I can force myself to eat. Nothing ever sounds good. I never have an appetite. I am struggling to feed myself every day because I just nothing sounds good. And it's hard for me to like meal prep and to do stuff because I am single, and it just like food just doesn't sound good ever. And I also have endometriosis, and so randomly I went from 0 to probably a level 6 or 7 pain in my back, between my shoulder blades, which happens with my endometriosis. And then at the same time, I got a huge like wave of nausea. So I took my hair out and I'm like laying down with the fan on, trying to get it, to pass. I think I think my stomach is pretty upset anyways. So then like I've always kind of been car sick, but I get so car sick. I was in the ocean the other day, and the waves tossing me around, I thought I was going to throw up because my stomach is already kind of upset anyways because of the Ozempic. I don't know. It's just so frustrating because the doctor did not tell me all, the side effects. And yes, I should have, researched things more, but I was put on it because I have PCOS also. And I had pre-diabetes, and I was married at the time, and I was wanting to get pregnant. We were wanting to do an IUI or IVF. And at this point, I've lost quite a bit of weight because I've been so sick, but I've now divorced, and my stomach has just never returned. And it makes me really sad because there are days that it's like, sometimes I worry that I'm never going to be able to get pregnant, because if I can't even keep food down and I can't even sustain myself, like, I shouldn't, it's already hard enough with morning sickness and everything else. Like, I want to be able to be healthy, to be able to, get pregnant. And there's just times that it's frustrating with living with chronic, I feel like I struggle with chronic nausea and chronic pain because of my endometriosis, and sometimes it's just frustrating. Yeah, it's just frustrating, and there's nothing that you can do. And it's just like, how are they, like, what even is Ozempic? Like, what does it do? Why, like, like, paralyzes your stomach? Like, what does it do? If, like, I feel like I've been poisoned. Like, I feel like my stomach's never going to return. It's been, in January, it will be two years. It'll be, yeah, so it's been more than a year and a half. And my stomach has, like, I'm not as nauseous, but I would say I'm just as nauseous now as I was at, like, past, like, month 9, where things kind of lifted. Like, I think things...
I was unable to leave not only my home for the better part of 4 days, I was unable to be farther than 5 seconds from a toilet. And this went on for days. This all happened because of one single low dose of a synthetic GLP-1. I've been struggling with a variety of autoimmune conditions since I'm 23. And the increase in symptoms and discomfort and weight gain that's associated with that led several doctors to recommend that I try a GLP-1. Within 24 hours, I was violently ill for the following 3 or 4 days and did not go back to eating normally for approximately 2 weeks. The half-life of these medications is incredibly long, so it's been a month of seesawing back and forth with gastrointestinal issues. I wanted to write about this for the Free Press because after experiencing what I experienced and being so sick for the better part of a month, I really found it impossible to keep this kind of not only information but reflection about what it brought up for me, especially as someone with disordered eating. I finally felt like it was time to share it. My own mother doesn't know most of the things in this article because there's a lot of shame and there's a lot of fear around what it means to speak up about these issues, especially chronic autoimmune issues. You can read my essay in the Free Press at the
Every 6 pounds of fat a person was losing on these drugs, they were losing 4 pounds of fat-free mass or lean mass. So 40% of the weight they were losing on these drugs is coming from lean mass, like including muscle and bone. So there are now case reports of young healthy women who are overweight, who go on the drug for some period of time, and after they get diagnosed with osteoporosis, where they have eroded their bone health, they're losing lean mass. And when you take enough of that drug that you just have no more hunger because of how it's acting at your brain, you do just stop eating. And the malnutrition, at least in part, is going to cause a loss of lean mass. There was a paper recently published with the use of these drugs, finding that people, when they begin the drug, their risk of suicidal thoughts doubles. It goes up by over 100%. And their risk of major depression triples. What it's doing is perhaps reducing your craving for everything. That while you are eating less food, which is resulting in the weight loss, you also are not interested as much in exercise as you used to be, which is going to make it even easier for you to lose your muscle and bone.
Stories have been emerging about the GLP-1 drugs, the Ozempic type drugs, causing apathy. They're calling it Ozempic personality, which is wrong. It's not what's happening. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay. So much like addiction is a motivational disturbance, the motivation to use takes over, all the other priorities of life shrink, and pursuing the drug becomes the sole priority. Even when the drug is destroying your life and you hate it, you still want it, which is the brain has 2 systems, a wanting system and a liking system. You can both want and like things, or you can want things that you don't like, but you still want them, right? The wanting part is what gets down-regulated by the GLP-1s. So you don't want anything. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to have a sexual object. You don't want to have meals. Everything's just and you're not depressed. There's not an emotional component to it because you still like all these things. You just don't want them. And so that just has had me thinking, just a general lack of understanding and priority given to motivation, motivational priorities, moral compasses. Where is our moral compasses heading, and how do we tune those up? And just generally what makes a good person and a good life, right?
I don't and have never used Grubhub because I don't believe it. I don't believe in it. I don't believe it like some people have a religion and they kind of just know what they know. And I know that's bad.
More people are slimming down from weight loss drugs.
It makes such a difference.
But research suggests about half of those taking GLP-1s will quit within 1 year.
Sometimes they can't stay on medicine because they've lost coverage or access to the medication, or they have side effects.
The whole period was a struggle.
Heather White stopped taking Ozempic after about 7 months because of nausea and digestive issues.
It just wasn't good enough for me to continue on with it.
So what happens when you stop? New research in the British Medical Journal compared studies of people who stopped taking weight loss drugs with those who quit diet and exercise programs and were not on a GLP-1. These people were either overweight or obese.
What we found particularly shocking was just how fast weight was regained after people stopped taking medication.
On average, people who got off the meds regained just under a pound per month and were projected to return to their original weight within nearly 2 years. Certain health benefits like lower cholesterol and blood pressure levels were also reversed. People who stopped the lifestyle programs still regained weight, just at a slower rate.
These weight loss medications are incredibly effective.
If you're actually living with obesity and this works for you, you should stay on it long term, just like any other chronic medical condition.
But the vast majority of the studies used in this research didn't track people for longer than 1 year. As for those like White, now trying a different weight loss drug,
And I want this to work. I do.
experts say more research is needed.
Today I took my Ozempic shot, and this morning I almost passed out. So when I took my shot on Friday, I had just got back in town from New York, eating heavy carbs, a lot of sugar, drinking a lot, just things that's just not how I normally eat. I went from doing that crazy for a week, then taking my shot Friday, then Saturday, my injection hits me hard. I mean, like bricks. I only had nachos that day, and I only ate a little bit of the nachos. And then that night I went to my girl's house, and then we were just drinking, having a good time. The next morning I woke up and I felt a little shaky when I was getting out of bed, but nothing crazy. And I should have known something was wrong because I was walking down the stairs very slow. By the time I got downstairs and sat on this couch, I couldn't move. And I'm not joking. I physically could not move. Girl, I knew if I stood up, I was hitting the ground hard, okay? And I'm sure you're like, okay, girl, we hear all that, but why'd you almost pass out? I almost passed out because my blood sugar dropped, and it dropped very quickly. When your blood sugar drops, you feel fatigued, disoriented, maybe a little nauseous, just very off. I drank some orange juice, and that took about 10 minutes for my blood sugar to just kind of feel better, for my body to get regulated again. So this is a PSA for my GLP-1 girlies. Stay on top of your eating. The reason this happened is because I just did not get enough food in the day before. Also, in combination with being dehydrated, with drinking too much. Hopefully we learn our lesson one day with the drinks, but I like to have a good time. Definitely PSA, stay on top of your eating, stay on top of your hydration. You do not want to have your blood sugar drop because that can lead to you passing out. And it's just overall not fun.
You know, the reason why this Ozempic lawsuit doesn't shock me whatsoever is because Ozempic was never meant for weight loss. And for the people that know, Ozempic was never new. Ozempic came out in like 2017. And it was for people that were pre-diabetic and diabetic, okay? And to help their A1C. And it suppressed, just so happened, you lost a lot of weight. You know, it suppressed appetite, and then it became popular with everybody. And it shot up, and the people that really needed it could not get it. So it doesn't surprise me with this lawsuit with all these different side effects, because the medication was never made for people with weight loss. It was made for people that are trying to control their A1C. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me at all that it's a huge lawsuit, because there's too many people who were taking it that probably shouldn't have been taking it. Yeah.
What do you think about Ozempic?
It's a type 2 diabetic drug. It's not meant for weight loss. It was cleared by the FDA for type 2 diabetes, not for weight loss. Now, it's very appealing to so many people. Why? Because it's convenient. All I could do is one shot in my ass once a week, and here we go. I'm going to start to lose weight. But the problem is that you got to be on that for the rest of your life to sustain the weight loss. The challenge is, number one, it's extremely toxic. It causes paralysis of the stomach. It delays the actual digesting of your food. It causes loose stools, diarrhea. I've had clients come to me on that. It's a very toxic drug. So now your body's got to deal with the toxic effects of that. My whole approach is, let's get to the root cause of why we gain weight in the first place. It's insulin resistance. It's a stress eating diet, too much sugar, too many crappy carbs, inflammation. So we have to really get the right foods into the body. We have to detoxify, get the right supplements, move our body, start to get some exercise, And what happens is the body's going to lose the weight on its own and do it in a way that's healthy, sustainable. That's what it should be about.
Well, it looks like if you're taking Ozempic or any of them other GLP-1 medications like Wegovy, you're going to lose that body dysmorphia one way or another. Either you're going to lose the weight, or, according to recent reports, you're going to lose your eyesight so that you're not going to be able to see your back wide as a parking spot. This is all alleged, of course, but Novo Nordisk, the company behind Ozempic, is facing pressure, lawsuits, for allegedly causing a type of blindness due to taking their weight loss products, GLP-1 products. Now, from my understanding, Ozempic is a diabetes medication first and foremost. However, a lot of people have been using it as a way to help or as the sole way to get them to lose weight. So much so that my father-in-law, who was a diabetic, went without his diabetes meds for so long, because it was just out of stock. Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, all of it was just gone. So what do y'all think? Are you using the Ozempic? Are you going to keep using it now that this is coming out? Are you going to add your name to the lawsuit? Have you had any symptoms? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Here's the reality of it. If you guys are taking Ozempic or Zepbound, whatever all that shit is called, if you don't eat high protein, right, you don't get the required amount of calories that you need to get in, and you don't lift weights, you're just going to lose a bunch of muscle and a bunch of fat. The scale's going to go down, but you're going to be skinny fat. I see a lot of people with like saggy, loose skin taking the Ozempic, because guess what? They're not actually eating high protein in the calorie deficit. They're just starving themselves and then not working out, not exercising. You're literally just gonna have saggy skin, right? You're gonna be skinny fat. Now, the funniest thing about this shit is motherfuckers who take Ozempic, what actually happens is you gain body fat because you lose so much muscle. Yes, you lose some fat, but you lose so much muscle that now your body fat percentage goes up. And since they don't understand foundational, knowledge, nutrition, body fat in general, a lot of people don't even realize that. They're like, yeah, I lost 20 pounds. And it's like, yeah, but your body fat went up 2%.
This article says people discover unexpected side effects from taking Ozempic and it's seriously freaking them out. Let me explain. Ozempic and other GLP-1 meds like Trulicity, Victoza, even Mounjaro are everywhere right now, right? And this article actually brings up an important point. These medications can help a lot of people, but they're not one size fits all. Okay, some people can tolerate them really well, but guess what? Some people don't tolerate them whatsoever. And one thing that can happen is rapid weight loss, and that doesn't always mean just fat. Some people also lose muscle mass as well, especially if they're not eating enough protein or doing strength training, which I always recommend if you're taking these medications. And having muscle mass is extremely important when it comes to longevity as well as metabolic health, right? And this is one of the reasons why I always tell patients, you cannot rely on medications alone. They can be a great tool, but your diet and your lifestyle always have to be the foundation of managing your type 2 diabetes as well as reversing your type 2 diabetes. And what works great for one person may not be the best choice for another. Okay, so if you're feeling confused by mixed advice or medication trends, I'm hosting a free live webinar where I break this all down in plain English so you can understand your options and make informed decisions. So click the link in my bio and I'll see you there.